When we talk about AI in the workplace, our minds immediately jump to these massive company-wide projects. We hear executives talking about strategy and consultants talking about digital reinvention. But what if the real AI revolution isn't happening in the boardroom? What if it's happening somewhere much, much simpler, like right at your desk? Let's dig into that. Yeah, this quote just nails it. The true adoption of AI isn't some big top-down corporate mandate. It's a grassroots movement. It's a personal shift in how we work, happening one professional, one desk at a time. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to cover the new reality of AI at work. Then we'll dive into a super practical system called the operator framework. We'll see how it works with real examples. Then we have a special section for leaders, and we'll wrap it all up by talking about why this is becoming a new foundational skill for pretty much everyone. All right, let's jump into our first section, the new reality. And the core idea here is really simple but incredibly powerful. AI is the new spreadsheet. Just think about that for a second. This isn't just another tool. It's on its way to becoming a fundamental part of how we all work. And this really puts it into perspective. Back in the 90s, if you didn't know how to use a spreadsheet, you were at a serious disadvantage. In the 2000s, mastering a search engine became essential. Well, today, AI fluency is that next big leap. This is no longer a niche skill for the tech folks. It's quickly becoming a universal requirement. And this leads to a huge challenge for any leader out there. You can go out and buy the fanciest AI platform in the world, but it's basically useless until your people actually start changing how they work. The real opportunity isn't just handing out new software, it's empowering people with a whole new way of getting things done. So how do we do that? Well, that brings us to the solution, the operator framework. And I want to be clear, this is not some high-level abstract theory. It's a practical, simple system that any professional can start using in their daily work. The framework is built on a really simple observation. Most of our work, every single day, falls into one of three buckets. We think through problems, we create things like documents and emails, and we analyze information to figure out what it all means. This framework shows you how to use AI as a collaborator in each of those key areas. Okay, so that's the theory. Now for the fun part. Let's see how this thing actually works in the real world. We're going to walk through each layer of the framework with some concrete, everyday examples. First up is think. Now, honestly, this might be the most powerful and underutilized part of AI. Before you even write a single word, you can use AI as your thought partner. It's a tool for structuring your ideas, exploring new angles, and just approaching problems with a fresh perspective. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine you've got a tough client meeting coming up. Instead of just staring at a blank page, you ask AI, "Hey, what are the most common concerns clients bring up during contract renewals?" In seconds, you get a structured outline. You're not outsourcing your brain, you're just accelerating your prep. You start with clarity. Okay, let's move on to the next layer, which is create. And the philosophy here is so simple and so effective. AI drafts, humans refine. See, this isn't about replacing your expertise. It's about getting rid of that blinking cursor, that blank page paralysis that just kills our productivity. I mean, just think about all the time you spend just getting a first draft down for emails or presentations or reports. AI can generate that initial structure in a snap. It takes care of the grunt work, which frees you up to focus on the high-value stuff, the refining, the editing, and the strategy. Here's a perfect example. A team lead has a bunch of messy notes from a meeting. Instead of spending an hour trying to organize them into a coherent guide, they just feed the notes to an AI. It comes back structured and organized. Now a task that would have taken an hour is a quick 10-minute review. That's a massive win. And that brings us to the third and final layer. Analyze. So many of us feel like we're drowning in data but starving for actual insight. This is where AI becomes your insight engine. It helps you find the signal in all that noise and shifts you from just managing information to actually understanding it. So imagine you've got to sort through dozens, maybe hundreds of customer feedback responses. Manually, that's tedious work that can take hours. With AI, you can just ask it to identify the main themes and give you the top 3 issues. You get that synthesis almost instantly. That's how you turn raw data into something you can actually act on. Now, let's pivot for a moment. If you're a leader, you might be thinking, this is great for one person, but how do I scale this across my entire team? Well, this next section is just for you. This is a really crucial point. Effective AI training isn't about teaching people the features of a specific tool. It's about fundamentally changing their workflows. The goal is a behavioral shift that actually leads to better work, not just another checkmark on a training checklist. So here's a simple 3-step playbook for leaders. First, share this framework with your team. Give them a common language. Second, focus on building one single habit. We'll get to that in a second. And third, really emphasize the mindset of collaborating with AI, not just the mechanics of a single app. And right here, this is that one simple habit. This is the trigger that makes this whole framework come to life. By training yourself and your team to just pause and ask this one question before starting any task, you start to systematically weave AI into your daily workflow. It becomes totally natural. This brings us to our final section, where we zoom back out to see the bigger picture. Adopting AI isn't really about the technology. At its core, it's a behavioral shift. I want to just pause on this quote because it really is the central idea of this entire explainer. When individuals change their daily habits, when they start integrating AI into how they think, create, and analyze, the entire organization starts to evolve naturally, from the inside out. So what does real AI literacy even look like? It has nothing to do with coding. It's about developing the skills to collaborate with these systems. Can you ask a good question? Can you take a first draft and make it great? Can you validate the information it gives you and then apply it to a real decision? That is the new literacy. And so we've come full circle. Just like you wouldn't hire someone today who couldn't use a search engine, we are rapidly heading towards a future where AI fluency is just a baseline expectation. It's becoming a non-negotiable, foundational skill for every professional. So let's end with this powerful idea. The future of work won't be defined by the companies that just buy the most AI. It'll be defined by the people who learn how to work with it. The professionals who build this simple habit today are positioning themselves to be the most valuable players in any organization tomorrow. So the only question left is, what will you ask AI first?